Clients often ask about tenants by the entirety property and if it's the same as every other kind of ownership. In fact, it's not. There are three ways owning property in Florida. We can have property owned as tenants in common. So if Gary and Jessica own property as tenants in common and Gary passes, his share goes to his named beneficiaries, probably his children or his spouse, whoever he's named in his will. If property is owned as joint tenants with rights of survivorship, upon Gary's death, it goes to Jessica. Now, tenants by the entirety is only for married people. So if Gary and Jessica are married and he dies, the property goes to Jessica, which is the same as joint tenants with rights of survivorship. The difference is that Gary and Jim can own property as joint tenants with rights of survivorship. It just means it goes to the survivor. The unique thing about tenants by the entirety is the law says that each spouse in a tenants by the entirety ownership owns 100% of the assets. That sounds mathematically illogical because 100 and 100 of course is 200, but if there's a creditor of only Gary's, he can't take property that Jessica is deemed to own 100% of. So it's very important for asset protection purposes that you use the tenants by the entirety designation. Real property in Florida owned by a married couple is deemed to be tenants by the entirety unless your deed says something else. If the deed says tenants in common, then tenants in common will override. For bank accounts, it's very important to note what your choices are. If your choices are joint tenants with rights of survivorship and tenants by the entirety, and you choose joint tenants with rights of survivorship, you will lose the tenants by the entirety protection. If you don't have the choice of tenants by the entirety, then a joint tenancy with right of survivorship will work. If you have questions about ownership of assets, real or personal, and tenants by the entirety and other types of ownership, please give us a call. We'll be happy to help.